Why should you be the only one losing creatures? Welcome to another game of Tiny Leaders. Well, actually, it's more of a game of Horde, since Tiny Leaders is supposed to be a heads-up format. We, meaning humans, have won all of our previous Horde games due to the underpoweredness of the zombie Horde. We beat it with pauper decks, for crying out loud. Let's see if our Tiny Leader decks can match that feat. The Horde deck now is about as stacked as it's going to get. There are 3 of us, and we are playing that each person adds 20 life to the group total. Here are our opening hands, and we shall once again play with our hands revealed so that you can point out all of our misplays. On our first turn, Rob and I both play tap lands, but Josh deals us 2 damage with an untapped breeding pool into Arbor Elf. On our next turn, Josh plays Animar and I play Wall of Omens. On the Horde's first turn, it casts no creatures, but instead casts Painful Quandary, which is painful, and also a bit of a quandary. On our turn, I hold Council's Judgment, which is amazing in Horde since each player can exile a different permanent. With Painful Quandary on the field, however, we decide the loss of value is worth getting rid of the powerful enchantment. I Council's Judgment, and we all pick the Quandary. Commander Sphere from Rob. Josh again plays with himself for a while with Animar. Okay, let's get through this. Josh casts Shrieking Drake, bouncing Arbor Elf, using the elf to untap his land, and then recast it, and then cast Elvish Visionary to draw, and then play Fathom Seer face down for free, and Rattleclaw Mystic face down for free. Morphs Fathom Seer, bouncing 2 lands and drawing 2 cards from Dream Stalker, bouncing Fathom Seer, and then recasting it for free. Again, turn 3, by the way. Josh attacks the Horde for 8 damage with Animar. On its turn, the Horde casts 2 zombies and Cackling Fiend. We each discard something. The Horde attacks. I block a token with my wall, and Josh blocks and kills the Cackling Fiend with Dreamstalker. We take 2 damage from an unblocked zombie. On our turn, I play Maze of Ith and cast Athreos. Rob casts Ichor Wellspring and Burnished Heart. Again, let's try to get through Josh's turn. Josh flips Rattleclaw Mystic and casts Hooded Hydra for 10. That wasn't so bad. Josh then attacks the Horde for 11. On the Horde's turn, it casts 4 zombie tokens and Death Baron. Josh blocks and kills Death Baron with his face down Fathom Seer. I maze one of the tokens, we take 9 damage. Rob fetches on our turn, paying 1 life. Josh Manamorphoses and casts Quirion Ranger. Josh attacks with his team, and the Horde randomly decides to block the Hooded Hydra. The Horde takes 14 damage from the rest of Josh's attackers. On its turn, the Horde casts just 1 zombie, but then casts In Garrick's Wake. In response, Rob gets 2 lands by sacking his Burnished Heart. We get 10 tokens when Josh's Hydra dies. Also, the Horde randomly chooses to lose 3 life from Athreos when my wall dies. The Horde attacks with 4 zombies, all of which Josh blocks and kills with his snakes. Josh has 2 snakes left over post-combat. On our turn, Rob casts Time Sieve, 1 more card away from an infinite combo, and I cast Phyrexian Reclamation and Order of White Clay. Josh then attacks the Horde for 2 with his snakes. One of the cards Josh hits is Army of the Damned, which is going to get flashed back next turn. On the Horde's turn, it starts by flashing back Army of the Damned during its upkeep and then casts Grave Pact. With the Grave Pact on the stack, Rob casts Far and Away, returning a zombie to the Horde's hand and making it sack another zombie. At the end of the Horde's turn, I pay 2 life with Phyrexian Reclamation and return Wall of Omens to my hand. On our turn, we start to realize just how much trouble we are in. Dealing with the zombies is one thing, but the Grave Pact is going to be what kills us. Josh recasts Animar. I cast Wall of Omens, drawing a card, and Banisher Priest, exiling a zombie and getting around the Grave Pact. Rob, not really sure what to do on his turn, realizes that it's not a great idea to cast Sydri right now, with Grave Pact on the table, but not having much else he can do, decides to cast his commander for more blockers. Rob then also casts Wall of Denial. We decide to have Josh attack for 2 with the snakes, and luckily he did, because one of the cards the Horde mills is Undead Warchief. During the Horde's upkeep, it returns the zombie from hand that Rob bounced last turn and casts 1 zombie token, 2 zombie giant tokens, and another cackling fiend. Rob discards nothing, I discard Bloodghast, and Josh discards a land. We then have a bunch of creatures attacking us. We discuss our strategy, whether or not we actually want to kill some of the zombies or not. Killing zombies will mean that we lose creatures due to Grave Pact, but not killing creatures will mean an even bigger attack next turn. We debate for a few minutes and finally decide not to kill any zombies. Josh blocks a zombie giant with his commander, Pro Black. Rob blocks the other zombie giant with Wall of Denial. I block a zombie with my wall, and Cleric and Maze another zombie. Rob turns Commander Sphere into a creature with Sydri, blocks a zombie, and before damage, sacks the sphere to draw a card so it won't kill the zombie it blocks. We get hit by 8 unblocked zombie tokens and take 16 damage. On our turn, we see that we are starting to run out of options. I cast Stoneforge Mystic and get Sword of Fire and Ice, which I also cast. Our plan is to wait until I get 1 more mana so I can Martial Queue for 5 and clear the board of all zombies, but this will also kill all of our guys, which aren't going to last long anyway with the Great Pact on the table. Josh plays Seagate Oracle and Quickling. We decide not to attack with anything so that we can bolster our defenses. All of our plans go right out the window on the Horde's turn when it casts Zombie Apocalypse. With the graveyard nearly full of zombies, the Horde would return, among other things, Noxious Ghoul, completely clearing our side of the board of creatures, even Athreos, and leave us completely open for a lethal attack. We lose hard. See, the Horde can win. I find that playing Permission really helps. There are a handful of cards the Horde casts that need to be countered. Things like Army of the Damned, In Garrick's Wake, and Zombie Apocalypse. Even if I would have gotten my 7th mana from Martial Queue, Zombie Apocalypse brings everything back anyway. And again, it should be remembered that we are playing Tiny Leaders decks that are designed for 1v1, not multiplayer Magic such as this. But still, it's fun to mix things up a bit. Animar delivered the lion's share of the damage, but when cards that aren't legal in Tiny Leaders kill Animar, it's difficult for it to recover. Well, that's the game. Hope you enjoyed. We want to know your continued thoughts on Horde. We thought about making an Angel Horde after it was suggested by one of our viewers, but that just seems, how should I put this, impossibly hard? Alright.